Hey guys, I'm excited to announce a new iOS app that I've been working on for a while now. It's called Esion, which is just noise spelled backwards. So Esion is kind of a texture looper. So the idea is you create and sample your voice or other different sounds, run it through a bunch of effects, and you create these organic kind of polyrhythmic loops that you can then save as WAV files and put it into your DAW if you want to continue and use it as a basis for a song. So I started this app back in 2018, put it on hold, and then recently kind of wrapped it up. So now it's available for both iPhone and iPad. It's a universal app. And I'll put a link in the description down below, so definitely check it out and let me know what you think. All right, let's quickly go over the app. So this is what you see when you first launch it. As you can see, there's a bunch of tabs at the top. So the first tab is where you actually record your samples. And then the rest of the tabs are all a bunch of different effects that you run your sounds through. So you have 3 different tracks and they're color coded red, green, and blue, as you can see here. You simply just arm the track you want to record into, tap record, and then it'll start looping the sample. You can use this arrow to reverse the recording and the power buttons if you want to disable certain tracks. And then the other tabs at the top are just effects, and each effect has an XY pad. So for each effect, you can change 2 parameters along the X and Y axis, and each track has its own set of effects. So everything is independent. So for example, in the first one, which is a time shifter effect, you can enable and disable whichever track you want for that particular effect. And then you just move these little circles around, and that's how you set the parameters of the effects along the XY pad. Similarly, we have a bit crusher here, you have a delay here, and again, you can just enable the tracks you want and set the parameters. And then finally, we have a reverb here. And the final one is just a mixer effectively. So the Y axis is the volume, and then move it left to right to pan it left and right. And like I said at the beginning, if you want to disable globally something, you can just turn it off here. And then you'll notice that that circle is gone from the options here. All right, so I'm just gonna use the built-in microphone and record a little sample. So again, you tap the little microphone to arm it, and then you tap the record button, and let's just do a little sample here. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
And you can see it starts looping right away. So Esion is not meant to be kind of a rhythmic tempo-based looper like a traditional looper. It's more just like free-flowing organic texture looper. So the idea is that you don't think about tempos or song structure. You're just kind of capturing sounds around you, and then you're letting them evolve, and kind of you get these interesting polyrhythms that way. So the first thing we can do is with the arrow here, I can reverse the sample.
Hello. Voila. Voila.
And then we can go into our first effect and then enable that track. And now we have a pitch shifter and time shifter. Next one is a bit crusher, then a delay, and then a reverb. And of course you can go here and start panning and changing the volume. If you want to clear the individual sample, you can just hold down on the waveform here, which deletes it. And then you got to let the delay fade out. Or alternatively, if you want to reset everything and kind of start from scratch, in the bottom you have this little menu here. If you tap this little icon here, you can reset everything, and that resets it. All right, so I'm just going to whistle for the 3 different tracks, and then we're going to see how you can quickly change a simple whistle into this really eerie effect. Now you can see with those simple 3 whistles, we get this really eerie. Almost like a jungle now. So let me mute that real quick. The other cool thing about Esion is that you can record your whole performance of everything you hear, so you can capture it as a WAV file. And the way to do that is that anywhere on the XY pad, simply double tap and you'll start seeing red flashing lights, which means that everything is recording. So let's record our little performance here. So I'll simply double tap. You can see the red lights. And now I can tweak the effects as I go. Change the panning. So everything is being captured in real time. So when I'm happy, I can double tap again. Now you'll see the file will get saved. So now I can go here and reset this now if I want to. So to see my recordings, I can go to this menu again and tap this little note button. So now these are a bunch of recordings I did in the past, including the one we just made, so you can audition it here. Of course, you can delete it by swiping left, or you can share it by swiping right. So this will open the standard share sheet, and the way I like to do this is I simply grab my Mac and I do an airdrop. So I just dump the WAV file onto my Mac, throw it into Ableton Live, and then I can use that as a bed to chop it up and use it as a texture for my songs. Now, of course, I can do more percussive sounds, so you can start hearing the kind of natural polyrhythmic effects you get when you don't have a tempo sync. So now we'll just let those three loop on their own terms. Of course, I can pitch them down. Can go in reverse each one. And of course, again, we can swap out the sample. Boom. Boom, boom. Now we get these really interesting kind of horror film, sci-fi sounds just from the simple starting point. I can replace one with a flute. This sounds pretty cool, so again, I can double tap to record this performance. All right. right, I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna definitely make a lot more videos in the future of me capturing sounds and then showing you the process of bringing it into Ableton and maybe creating a track from some of these starting points. So yeah, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm super excited about this app. It's my first kind of audio-based one. My first app was a MIDI controller. The second one was a music theory. So this is my first kind of audio manipulation one. And yeah, I'm super excited. I love the results out of it. It always surprises me because I always start with like a simple sound bite of just saying something random into the mic, and then instantly you can get these really eerie textures, which is super inspiring because it's also a cool thing to have if you're bored in like a doctor's office or if you're waiting in line at the grocery store or something. You can always kind of capture the ambience around you. And what's cool is, I don't know if I mentioned this, but every sound is normalized when you record it, which means that you don't have to have a super loud sound. You can just tap record and just let the ambience of the room get captured. So when you stop it, the levels will be brought up so that you can start hearing the quirks in that room and then run it through all the glitchy effects. And then you can like really quickly create these soundscapes that you can use either to complete a track, or you can use it as is. You can just export that wave, put it on SoundCloud or something, and use it as like an experimental capture of wherever you are in your environment. All right, hopefully this was interesting. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for all the support. You've been awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one.